Jillian Duke, how Jillian Michaels, saying that imperialism and slavery in America shouldn't be blamed on one race and that black degeneracy is to blame for white supremacy makes her the biggest loser. Fitness personality Jillian Michaels is no stranger to controversy, but her latest comments have sparked outrage that goes well beyond workout advice. In a recent podcast appearance, Michaels reportedly suggested that America's history of imperialism and slavery shouldn't be blamed on one race, and went further by implying that black degeneracy is the root cause of systemic racism and white supremacy. The backlash was immediate and fierce. Critics argue Michaels is recycling the oldest talking points of racial denialism, the idea that slavery and white supremacy were unfortunate but impersonal accidents of history, and that black communities are responsible for the very oppression inflicted upon them. Historians were quick to point out the obvious. Slavery in America was legislated, enforced, and defended almost exclusively by white elites for centuries. From the Three-Fifths Compromise to Jim Crow laws to redlining and mass incarceration, systemic racism has always been a top-down project that requires state power and social reinforcement, not the behavior of the oppressed. Civil rights advocates noted that Michaels' framing effectively launders white supremacy by placing blame on the victims rather than the perpetrators. "It's historical gaslighting," said one critic on social media. "White supremacy is not black people's fault. That's like saying women are responsible for sexism because they exist." Even some of Michaels' fans distanced themselves, with many calling her comments tone-deaf and uneducated. Memes branding her Jillian Duke, a nod to infamous white supremacist David Duke, began trending, cementing her as the week's biggest loser in public discourse. What makes the episode especially galling is that Michaels' brand has long relied on narratives of discipline, resilience, and self-improvement qualities. Black Americans have had to embody for survival in the face of centuries of systemic exploitation. By blaming the oppressed, Michaels not only undermines her credibility, but also reveals the hollowness of her motivational messaging. At a time when conversations about racial justice are increasingly nuanced and informed, Michaels' descent into victim-blaming rhetoric feels less like tough love and more like historical illiteracy dressed in spandex. In trying to deflect blame from the architects of slavery and white supremacy, Jillian Michaels has managed to step off the treadmill of relevance and sprint straight into disgrace.